Hi, so I'm Steve from Nearly Wild, and today I'm here with...
I'm Steve as well from Orcadian Wildlife.
So Steve Sankey.
A brace of Steves.
There you are. So yeah, we're amazing up on Orkney today, and I've just been out with you, Steve, to have a look at the cattle. Very nice looking cattle. I have got a short bit of video which I might just put in for you all to be able to see these, because they look like they're pregnant. They've got so much feed on them.
Yeah, no,
tell us a bit about them, because they're quite special cattle, aren't they?
They're rare breed, yeah, they're critically endangered. They're Shetland cattle, just from the bunch of islands just north of us here in Orkney, so they're very, very rare. There's about 500 breeding females, that's all. So they're really critically endangered, and I've been keeping them for 20 years.
Right.
And they're beautiful cattle, as you've just discovered. They're very small but perfectly formed, we like to think. And they were the classic crofter's coo.
Right.
You know, so they took the crofters through the winter in the hard Shetland winters, and crofters relied on them for the milk and the cheese, and obviously the beef in due course. But every croft had a coo, and it used to live in the house. Ours don't. I was living.
That might be pushing it.
Ours live outside all year. They don't go in at all. They're very primitive. They're very tough.
Right.
And beautiful glossy coats in the summer, just like dairy cattle. And then they have really thick coats in the winter time. So they're dual purpose breed, and we eat them. They're gorgeous. Organic Shetland beef.
Lovely.
Couldn't be better.
So do you get milk from them as well, or are you just
the calves take the milk. So they're sucklers. But they're classed as a dual breed.
Right.
So they're milkers, good milkers, and they're beef as well. So
excellent.
Can't lose.
Yeah. So we're actually sat in a lovely little converted barn of some type here that you've done for a holiday let. What was this used for?
Yeah, this was our old tatty shed.
Oh, really?
And we've been here 15 years. We moved north from Edinburgh, and 16 years ago. This has been open 12 years now, and it was a dry stone built tatty shed with just two old doors in it, and it was literally used for storing tatties. And we thought, well, that could be useful.
Yep.
And so we did the main building up, which is not very big at all. It's only got one bedroom, one bathroom, kitchen, and this conservatory. It's just built for two people, so we let it out in the summer months.
Right. Well, this is really special, and I understand you get some interesting bird life flying around.
Well, if you look outside where the sheep are grazing, you may not be able to see the sheep, but there's a short-eared owls breed at the back of us.
Yes.
And this time of the year, they're hunting the rough grasses where the sheep are. So we didn't graze that field quite as hard this year as we have done in previous years, and that is a lesson learned there, because the short-eared owls love it. So they're here every day in the winter months, hunting the rough grass for the Orkney voles, which is something special. Maybe tell you about that.
Absolutely.
And the hen harriers, we have a bird crop just the other side of the polycrop here.
Right.
So we have a strip of a bird crop, which is wildflowers, specially grown for their seeds in the winter.
Right.
They're very, very good for butterflies and moths in the season. And then in the winter time, we usually chuck some oats in, and the seeds are all eaten by mixed flocks of linnets, twites, green finches, house sparrows, and of course the hen harrier comes along.
Very nice.
Looking for his
lunch. And then the voles come and do a bit of tidy up, I should imagine, fattening them up.
The voles are very unique to Orkney. They're very, very interesting species. There's nothing quite like them in the rest of Britain. The theory is that Neolithic farmers brought them into Orkney about 6,000 years ago. Right. And so their nearest relatives, genetically speaking, are either in Belgium or Spain.
Goodness.
And there's nothing like them in the rest of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
They're bigger, fatter, just right for short-eared owls and hen harriers. And
fascinating.
Yeah.
I wonder how they got here.
Yeah. In a pannier, probably.
Oh, really?
A Neolithic boat.
Yep.
Neolithic pannier.
Right.
Maybe they used to keep them. Who knows? I mean, they're actually quite plump.
Oh, so more than a sandwich.
Might have been a Neolithic snack.
Yeah, they are.
Who knows what the Neolithic people did?
Brilliant idea.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've developed quite an interesting portfolio. I think it's whenever I go to island communities, everybody always seems to have about 6 jobs.
Yeah, that's me.
But you've developed it around a whole range of sort of nature-based activity, I suppose, really. And core to it is your other business that you do. Was it about 12 weeks of the year? You specialise in wildlife tours?
Yeah, so we moved north to Edinburgh to set up the new business, which was running wildlife tours in Orkney. That was nearly 16 years ago. Just finished my 16th season.
Right.
And the plan was to work the Orkney season, which is relatively short. It goes from April to September.
Right.
But the main season, as we call it, is when the seabirds are here. So Orkney is incredibly important for seabirds. So we've got big guillemot colonies, razorbill colonies, puffin colonies, gannet-tree, tysties, black guillemots, Arctic terns, bonxies, great skua, and Arctic skua. So we've got a huge array of seabirds, and that's what we call the main season while the seabirds are still here. And they're here mainly from about mid-April to mid-July. So you've got that 12-week slot.
Yep.
That's when we used to work.
Right. Yep.
And in the old days, we'd just do 12 weeks straight through Orkney, and that would be that. But as the business developed over the years, we started adding other destinations. So we used to go to Shetland, and we still go to Shetland. Shetland's a beautiful place, nearly as nice as Orkney.
Yeah.
But we also go to Iceland, we go to various European sites, and even sometimes we go to places like the Falkland Islands.
Okay.
Because,
really
the
fun,
Falkland Islands are very similar in many ways
Yes.
to Orkney Islands. So, but the business has diversified over the years. We added this about 12 years ago, so this self-catering unit is part of the business.
Yep.
And we have the farm. The farm is only 25 acres. You can't make any money off the farm.
Right.
But the farm adds to our what we call our sustainable lifestyle. So we eat the beef, we enjoy the birds, we enjoy the inverts. We've done a lot on the farm over the years. We've put wind turbines in, we've put wildflower meadows in, we've put bird crops in. It's 100% organic, and so it's all part and parcel of a lifestyle, I guess.
And then on top of that, you're also a Green Councillor?
I'm a Scottish Green Party councillor,
Right.
That keeps me amused.
Keep you busy.
In my spare time.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So I'm interested by that, and we were having a bit of a chat earlier on. One of the factors I think it feels like is very important. I mean, obviously, there's the early stage when you're building a business up of just trying to find the clients.
Yeah,
and
trying to make a living.
Yeah,
it's scary actually.
Right. I wondered what it was like in your sort of line doing that.
Very scary. I mean, my wife, bless her, she used to worry about it a lot more than I did.
Right.
I suppose because she's female and I'm male.
Right.
But I mean, we left two good jobs in the conservation movement. We were working for the Wildlife Trust in those days, and we came to Orkney. We set up this new wildlife tourism business, and for the first year or two, we really depended heavily on things like tax credits, grants to start us up, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think it took probably our third season before we thought, well, this is really going to work. And by the fourth season, we knew we were doing okay.
Interesting. Yes.
And from there on in, it's been fine. But it does take a few years to set up. You have to find the business.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting you say that, because I think there's a lot of people we've been talking to who have nature-based businesses, and I think there's this idea, well, I've got a great idea, I know there's a market, it'll be up and running in a year and a half, 2 years. And I think most people are saying 4 to 5.
Everybody warned me, if you're going to go self-employed, you'll be working harder than you ever have, and you may be presented with uncertainties, and you've just got to work your way through them. And all that is compounded being in an island setting.
Yeah.
Because then you have to get here across the sea.
Yes.
So you've got to get people here on a ferry, you've got to get people here on a plane. Is the weather cooperating? The weather in Orkney can be violent.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I love weather, so I like it. But it's a bit of a pain when you're trying to get people in and out.
Yeah.
But usually that 12 core week period is fine.
Right.
April can have its moments, right enough. And we do have snow in May sometimes.
Yes.
But it all adds to the experience.
It's part of the fun.
People never ever leave Orkney disappointed.
So there's one other thing I wanted to ask you about. There's, I think, quite interesting was when we were talking earlier. You've pretty much designed your business to suit what you want from it, and I think it's something I wanted to talk a little bit more about, because it's one of those things. I think people set something up and they feel they've got to do it because it's almost expected of them. They've got to grow it. It's got to get bigger. It's got to do all it. So I get the sense that you've kind of found the space that works for you. And I just wondered if you had...
Yeah, sort of. I mean, you know, there's this business, there's the self-catering, there's the farm, and then there's the counsellor, and then I do a bit of writing, and I do a bit of this and do a bit of that. So it's classic island life. You know, never a dull moment in an island. And yes, you're right. I've been encouraged to expand so many times over the years, principally by the enterprise agencies, but also, surprisingly, from within the industry. Want to come to Orkney, want to do this.
Yeah.
And I think my advice to would-be entrepreneurs out there in rural Britain is just decide what you want to do and why. No, we decided that we only really wanted to work 12 weeks because there were other things that we wanted to do. And there are other things that I still want to do. So just working that 12 weeks, even after 16 years, I still only work 12 weeks at the wildlife tourism side of things.
Right.
This self-catering is open for about 4 to 5 months, so it's open a bit longer.
Yeah.
The farm is always open.
Yeah.
There's always animals to look after.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's bits of writing here, bits of writing there, and then the council, the Scottish Green Party stuff is very time consuming but very rewarding. I mean, there's nothing more important than climate change just now. So, you know, so every single person, every single business, every single public sector agency needs to be thinking about what can they do about climate change. And I've had to adapt my business to climate change needs and demands as well. So if folk go onto my website, you'll see a tab on my website, Climate Change Actions, and it's a bit crude, but it'll work. It works for me, and I've calculated in a couple of years' time I will be carbon neutral here because we export electricity, we run electric vehicles, we remove the cattle, sadly, and. But I calculate that with offsetting flights, big problem in island areas. Can't get people here without heavy carbon emissions on ferries, heavy carbon emissions on flights. We need to offset these somehow. But I can do it by planting trees. So we're going to plant a lot of trees here to offset the carbon.
Right.
But everybody needs to be thinking about this.
Absolutely. No, that's a really good note to end on, Steve. Obviously, for more information about the holiday let, about Steve's guiding business and so on, we'll put lots more links at the bottom on the description for the video. Meanwhile, thanks very much.
You're very welcome. Just visit the website. Everything you need to know is on the website. And nice to meet you, and thank you very much indeed.
Been good fun. Thanks, Steve.